Welcome to blog entry number 8 as part of my practicum development. The two items that we were supposed to talk about this week were assessment and evaluation and classroom management. As you know, I recently accepted an LTO at St. Andre Bessette here in London, Tim, and I'll get into that in a second. In terms of assessment and evaluation, I've always struggled differentiating the two and how they come into play. And thankfully, while I was at STA, I got to witness firsthand how simple assessment and evaluation can be when you're not overcomplicating things. And I don't know why I had such a struggle with it, but I guess I am more of a practical person rather than a theory person. So until I was able to put it into practice, it's where I really struggled with it when we had the course with John earlier in the year. In terms of assessment, there are multiple ways that we've been assessing while I was at STA. We would have little mini quizzes. Sometimes they were graded, sometimes they weren't. And we would have students get out onto the machines, out in the shop and practice what they were learning in theory and through the demonstrations that we were providing them at school. And through that, we are offering feedback, guidance, some positive points for them to ponder and take with them. And we are allowing them, or I guess subjecting them, to working alongside their friends in groups and collaborate and learn from each other in that sense. And through that, we would also monitor them as they progress while they are working on the machines to see if they were actually retaining or understanding some of the concepts that we were teaching them. And when it comes to evaluation, we've been evaluating in many different ways. Uh, as we all know, the evaluation part is the end product of what they are doing, whether it's through testing, whether it's creating a project and submitting a final production of that piece that they're working on. And we grade them, we judge them based on that. I've got to say, from what I've come to understand so far, the assessment portion of what we're doing, no matter what project we're working on or assignment or task, it seems like assessment is about 90%, 80 to 90% of the entire process, with evaluation being the very last part, which is very, I don't want to say insignificant as part of the process, but it is at the end. It's just the grading, it's the final, it's the formative part of the whole assignment that they're on. So there's lots and lots of room while assessing them to helping them develop those skills, hone their skills, make corrections as they're working along the way. And that is the part where I always thought it was assessment evaluation, and it was like a 50-50 split. And I thought it was much more in depth than what it was. So I'm glad to have been learning that process of understanding the whole assessment evaluation portion of things. And I've gained such a better grasp on it now that I've been able to put it into practice. Before we get into classroom management, I just thought I would share with you the most important part about why I'm here today. And that is I got the smoker out, and today I am smoking pineapple, pineapple and hot peppers. I've harvested a lot of my hot peppers, and I'm going to start making some sauce. And I've got a bit of a medley there where I have some jalapenos, ghost peppers, Carolina Reapers, and habaneros. So I'm super excited to make some hot sauce and start making some chicken breast with that hot sauce jammed right into her. Infuse some of that flavor. It's been a good day so far. In terms of classroom management, like I mentioned off the top, I've moved over to St. Andre Bessette this week. And while I was at STA, the classroom management, I got to learn through my associate teachers how to manage behaviors, how to manage attitudes, and really work with students to find a balance that they were okay with and I was okay with. And the kids at St. Thomas Aquinas, I gotta say, amazing. And I don't know if it's based on upbringings or social situations or just the school itself, but it's the management portion of things that has been really, really great and easy to deal with. There's the odd hiccup, but it's easy to get kids back on task. Now, St. Andre Bessette, a totally different animal. And I knew this accepting this LTO. And it is part of why I accepted this LTO. A long-standing transportation tech teacher is on sick leave. He hasn't shown up at all this year. And they've been panicking, trying to fill his spot for the entire semester, to the point now where they've went through 4 different supply teachers who just do not want the role because of the students in the classroom, especially the grade 11, 12 split class. They are very, very difficult to deal with. They are out of control, and not a single teacher that's been stepping into that classroom hasn't been able to deal with it. I was forewarned by the principal this is going to be a nightmare if I accept this role, but if I didn't accept the role, and she said no pressure, but if I didn't accept the role, there was a very high chance they were going to shut down the program for the year, and these students were going to lose their credits. They've already had to pull 4 students from this classroom prior to me entering into it this week because they were just that out of control. So it's been a bit of a struggle, but this is, again, this is, I wanted this. I wanted this sink or swim moment. I wanted to be thrown into the meat grinder. I wanted this opportunity while still in school, while still having access to resources like yourself, Tim, other professors, my classmates that I can reach out to and share some of those experiences before I was done school. Because once I'm done school, I don't know how much contact we're going to have with each other, with the my colleagues in that sense, and I don't know how easy it's going to be to get a hold of you, Tim, when you are working with your next cohort of students. So it's uh it's something that I was looking forward to because I need that moment to test my resolve and to test my own classroom management. It's great when you have an associate teacher and you can lean on them and watch from them, but I needed a moment to see that if I can actually handle this and deal with this. So in terms of classroom management, the first couple of days were rocky. We're starting to see progress in the direction that I want, and that is respect. It's respect for myself as the teacher. It's respect between the students, and it's respect between myself and the students. The kind of image that I'm putting out there. And there's been some tough moments, and I've had to lay down the ground rules right from the start, and I had to go off a hard image, which is really super easy for me, by the way. And they've taken to it. They're starting to lean into it a little bit. So that's a super positive sign. Starting an LTO, I am petrified, terrified, mortified. Trying to think of other words that end in fied. Either way, I don't know that this is. I've been ready for this, but this is only going to help my growth. This is only going to further help me develop my skills to be a successful educator. I'm very fortunate in the fact that this entire program, because it's been so jumbled this year, and because they've had to put supplies into place, that the entire program for this semester is all online. Students are just working at desks doing their assignments. So they're getting cheated out of this transportation technology experience that they want in class. And that's probably part of why they are so unmanageable in class because they have all this pent up energy and they want to do and work and use their hands and expel that energy, and they're not being given that opportunity. So you know what it's like when you have students that want to take a tech class but they can't actually get on the tools. It becomes hard to manage. Now, as I don't have a transportation background, and I am kind of familiar, I've worked on cars my entire life. I've had the luxury of having one of the former tech heads come in, and he's showing me some of the machines so I can get some of these students on the machines and using some of the tools. Mind you, I'm not going to allow that to happen until I'm comfortable with the machines and I understand all the safety features of these machines and all the dangers of them as well. So once I properly learn how to use these machines, then I can start showing students how to use these machines. And I think that's going to factor in heavily into my classroom management when these students can get up, get moving, get using some tools, and actually do what they signed up for. And that was to learn transportation technology. So while these kids' behaviors might be out of control, I put a lot of the onus on the school itself for not having someone fill that role and be able to manage these students. And it's only made that situation worse. So I'm hoping to revisit this in a few weeks and say, you know what, Tim and class, I've really dialed these students in and I found a workable relationship with them. and I've got them back on task because I don't want to see anyone lose their semester. We're trying to get students into the trades and talk about these meaningful careers, but then we're putting them in a situation where we might have to cancel their semester on them, and the school might lose their SHISM funding and all these kind of other things because we couldn't find a tech teacher to step in and help these students out. No wonder they're so out of control right now. So that's it. That's it from my blog entry this week, blog number 8. I'm getting a first-hand experience on how to class manage, and it's been a bit of an eye-opener. I'm not ready to give up on it, that's for sure. I'm not going to be the 5th teacher that walks out this year on that. I'll finish out the semester and see what happens. There's a very, very, very good chance that I might actually land on a long-term occasional with St. Thomas Aquinas, the school that I started at, because from what I understand, they absolutely love me, and they were pretty disappointed to see me move on to St. Andre Bassett. So, and I'm working with Mark too. I got to run into Mark, and it was nice to see Mark Roberts from our class. So that's a pretty cool experience too. So until the next time, Tim, and if you get inspiration, maybe think about smoking your own hot peppers and making your own hot pepper pineapple sauce. It's wonderful. I'll share the recipe with you if you want. I guess we'll see you in blog number 9. It will be. So take care, everyone. It's been a pleasure. I got to get back to smoking.